Hello, welcome to Collab Lab. We recently did an interview with Jo Ruxton, the producer and creator of A Plastic Ocean, an incredible documentary about plastic entering the world's seas. Enjoy!
I remember the first time I saw a blue whale.
Oh, look. Wow!
I've followed them since childhood.
We're really lucky at Collab Lab to have Jo Ruxton, who's the producer and mastermind, I would probably say, of A Plastic Ocean, which is a beautiful film about an ugly subject. Mm-hmm. You worked on documentaries like Blue Planet, you were at the BBC.
Yes.
Is your film a reaction to those pristine documentaries?
It was never intended to be, but I have to say I found it frustrating that we were portraying the oceans to be full of life and full of fish and really clean, when that really wasn't the case. And much as we want people to love the oceans, and they did a very, very good job with that, and to, you know, react to the wildlife that's in there, giving that impression will make people think that they can carry on polluting the seas and using them as a rubbish dump, because what does it matter? Look at all these fish. And so for me it was actually nice to have a chance to tell the real story, as sad as the reality is.
Did you find that it was harder to get all the bits together to make a film which was so kind of, not negative, but so hard-hitting in the way that it's portraying reality?
Well, getting any environmental film over the finish line is difficult. What do I mean over the finish line? Getting any environmental film started is very difficult, because essentially people sit down in the evenings to be entertained, and they don't want some sort of punch in the stomach, we're all doomed type of documentary. And I thought, well, how do we do this? We've got to interest people. We've got charismatic wildlife, and certainly you're going to have the ocean lovers and the environmentalists straight away. It's everybody else. So then we had to look deeper into the story. I mean, I never realised when I started that there was this potential link to human health, and that science emerged during the time that we were filming. And really, however far you live from the ocean, if you don't understand that there's such a deep connection that we have with it, everybody's concerned about their own health.
A lot of the film is about, that comes at it from an environmental point of view. You were at the WWF before you went to the BBC.
Yes.
Do you find that there's been a change in the way that people think about environmentalists?
I think the sort of perception of environmentalists as being lentil-eating, sandal-wearing hippies.
Oh, that is the thing I was brought up on.
Well, yes. But really, people who care about the environment are starting to be taken very seriously. And actually, you know, 20 odd years ago, when I was working at, 30 years ago, when I started working at WWF, I was amazed at how seriously we were taken with government. I mean, WWF was represented on lots of the government committees. I sat on 4 of them. And we were always listened to, and it got to the stage where ours was often the advice that was taken before big development projects. Nice. And that I find very heartening. The government, I think, are just people just like everybody else, and this awareness is growing now. And actually the governments that have seen the film, the people from the government who have seen the film, have been absolutely changed by it, and just, you know, like many people who come to see it, saying they had no idea. Even those that thought they knew something about the topic, when you show the global picture and include this new science, it is news. And, you know, before I started this, I wasn't recycling everything. If the bin men were outside and I had a bag to go to the dump, rather than get in my car and take it there, I would put it out because I was late for work or whatever. And if I forgot to take a bag to the supermarket, I'd grab one of theirs. I wouldn't dream of it now, because I know what I know and I've seen what I've seen. And
what you've seen is now what I've seen, because I've seen the film.
Exactly.
And I have a visceral response now to
I'm so pleased. That was the intention.
I was going to say, so I feel like I have been Pavlovian conditioned to be like, oh, every time I see plastic.
Or somebody drinking out of a plastic water bottle.
I was there today in a meeting, and someone was using just a single plastic glass. And I just thought,
yeah, why are you doing that?
Am I going to say something? You're my boss.
Yeah, say it.
So just slam it down. You say throughout that our relationship with plastic isn't just as simple as stop. And that, you know, plastic is an incredible innovation.
It is.
But so do you think that there's a potential future from innovation itself?
Well, there's 2 different things here. I mean, plastic is a wonderful thing, and it's saved the environment in many ways. You look at the plastic furniture that we sit on. Imagine if that had all been wood, we'd probably have no forests left. And we used to have glasses made out of turtle shell and hair combs and so on. So actually a lot of species have probably been saved by plastic. It's the single-use plastic. It's this whole perception that plastic is disposable when it's indestructible, and that's the attitude we've got to change.
So during the filming, you go out and to find the Great Pacific Garbage Patch.
Yeah.
You're going out there with these scientists.
Yes.
And in order to sort of make the film, you kind of bring them along with you, and then they become part of the whole process.
Yes, yes.
Did new science come from that process?
Yes. But you're going to ask me specifics, and I can't think what.
No,
Certainly the scientists on the trip that we were on, and there were 6, were all expecting to see a big floating island.
And then they totally didn't.
Exactly. I mean, yes, I mean, they'd brought the plankton trawl with them to see what the plankton element held, you know, the manta trawl, the surface trawl, but all of us were expecting to find massive conglomerations of plastic at least. So that was a surprise.
We got a tweet in to ask, what's your opinion on that MacArthur Stat, which is in 2050 there's going to be as much plastic in the sea as there are fish?
That's a difficult one. It certainly draws attention to people, but when it constantly gets quoted as fact, then that, I think, lessens the dependence on the real facts. So when you're putting facts out, people think, oh, it's just an assumption. So I think the way it's worded, you know, even if it could be as much as, you know, we're not sure, but what a horrible thought type thing, rather than this is what's going to happen.
Because a plastic ocean is so good at just showing you what's happening and then telling you what you're seeing.
Every fact we have in there has been backed by peer-reviewed science, and we've got a new paper coming out, should be within a couple of weeks, which is all about the science behind the film, and we actually go through all of it.
That's great to hear. Finally, for everybody else out there thinking about this kind of thing, if you're passionate about making these kind of projects, what would you say?
I would say everybody can make a difference. I mean, just changing your own habits. No more plastic bags, no more plastic bottles, no more plastic straws. Buy your butter and paper, buy your soap solid, and that's 5 things you can do without even thinking. So just remember, plastic is not disposable, it's indestructible.
Fantastic note to end it on. Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
She is amazing, and that is an incredible film. In fact, we put the link to the trailer up here, so check it out, and you can even get the movie itself on YouTube for a mere £3.50 if you're in the UK. Loads more stuff to check out, and please subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks, bye.